arrived, we've had at least 24 hours of good continuous rain, which has soaked the ground thoroughly. I'm just going to take out the remaining carrots from this first tank of sweet candle I got, and just pull up. I've got one here with the green top, which and everyone counts. One fork there. Just caught this one in time as it's about to blow, but we'll get a meal out of it. The last couple of days we've had a real good dollop of rain. It's more or less been continuous during Saturday and Sunday. Early Saturday morning it was threatening, and so I managed to get the Kelsae onions lifted. That's one. Out of 32, probably got about 26, which is reasonably good. And I only lost one to white rot, which was brilliant, I thought, considering the weather we've had. So they've been put out on the trays. I did actually film it, but I had a bit of a disaster. When I come to put the card into the computer, it wouldn't read it, and the card failed, so I lost all the footage on that. But I did manage to do it, and I've knocked this other tray up, which I'll get a big close-up a bit later on. Anyway, the later in the afternoon we did have rain, and as you can see, we did have I covered the existing ones up with a bit of polycarb sheet, which has let the rain go off, and on top of these onions I used the bubble wrap, and it has kept them bone dry. So I'll be lifting the covers off completely with these now, so the sun can do its job, and probably later on in the week I'll be taking them back into the greenhouse. On the previous upload, one of the subscribers made a comment about the drying tray and couldn't get hold of any line pins. Well, I had exactly the same problem when I come to do the Kelsae tray. I'll just show you what I've done. These metal line pins are really good help on the allotment, very versatile, and fortunately for me they're made by a local company about 4 or 5 miles away. But on this occasion I'd run out and I got nothing to prop these. These are the Kelsae onions. So what I've done, I've got these are just green plastic coated canes. I'm not sure whether they're solid or what, but I've just pushed these into the ground and they sit underneath the ledge of the drying basket. What I did, I've just drilled a hole through the side. I'll see if you can see it there. Round there, and just put a cable tie, zip tie, just to hold that in place, and repeated it 4 corners, sorry. And that's done the trick. So I did cover these with that heavy rain, and I'm glad I did. Took the covers off and then completely dry. These will be staying there for 2 or 3 days, I think, then into the greenhouse. The regular viewers of the channel will notice that last time the disaster I had with the zebra and the banana shallots. So win some, won't lose some. However, these are some red cousins of them. These are called Long Red Florence, and it's a different story with these. I'd like to have pulled them up a bit earlier, but the rains beat me. But nothing like the present to get them sorted now. Even where there's been 2 seeds together, they've still produced the goods. And these are a good variety, store well, and I can highly recommend them. That's all the Long Red Florence lifted now, and I must say I didn't quite think there's that many there. There's a lot more than I thought there would be. As you can see from the photo here, there's vary quite in size from little tiny one to this one at the front, which is quite large. These do store extremely well, and I'll be looking to keep these at least into March next year. That's if they're not all been eaten by then. So once again, Long Red Florence, can highly recommend them. Grown exactly the same as a brune shallots. These will be then put into the basket to dry, and I'll probably move these into the greenhouse more or less straight away. As I've said repeatedly before, the last couple of days we've had some real heavy rain. The skies are still quite dark now, so I think we've got some more coming in. The main concern is the temperature's still quite warm and the dreaded blight may be on the horizon. There's a couple of things that I've got out which may be affected. I've got some potatoes here. These behind me over this side, the sarpows, and I'm quite happy to leave those out. But the ones this side here, these are shallots, and so they've already gone over, so they're ready for harvesting. But I'm not quite ready to lift them yet. So the plan is, first of all, to remove the boundary fence. I'll be cutting down the haulms, and then, until I'm ready to harvest, I'll be actually putting some black plastic over to reduce any blight if there is any spores floating around. So that'll actually keep them off the plants as best they can. So let's get cracking. So that's all the haulms chopped off down to surface. I've had a quick feel under the top layer of the soil, and it is reasonably damp, so covering the potatoes up with the black plastic is going to do them no harm regardless of the weather. I've still got the yellow markers on the boards to show where the rows are, so that'll help when I do come to dig them out. So I'm not ready to dig them out yet because we're still eating this swift which we unearthed a few days ago, so they'll last us for a while. In the meantime, I'll just cover this up with the plastic and leave it to its own. In the end, I decided to cut my losses and to save keep running in and out every time it rains, covering the onions up. I fetched the whole lot in, cleared a bit of space in the greenhouse, and I've just showed how I've laid them out. The first lot of onions, I've double stacked the trays, as you can see there. They fit on each other nicely. Going back into the Long Red Florence, there's some in this potting tray. And there's another, well, the rest of them are on top of this one here, going out. And just below it there, I've got another tray there, and those are the Kelsae onions, if you can see behind. It's dark in there, but there's plenty of airflow, and I think they'll be okay in there. That solved me the problem of having to keep running in and out. With the onions now lifted, it's freed up a couple of beds, or one full bed and 2 halves. Got no real plans to use it from now on. The only thing I'm growing over the winter is going to be some spring cabbage, and I'll probably go up in the top bed up there. So I think the best thing I'm going to do now is just lightly rake over the top, probably run the cultivator through, the hand cultivator. I'm going to top it up with rotted manure and then cover it over for the winter and let the worms get to work. Giving all the empty space in the beds now a real good top dressing of horse manure. Just put the house pipe on there to give it a good soaking, because even the manure is dry. It's very steamy when you dig it up, but it's just like powder it is underneath. So I'm going to put the house pipe on for about 15-20 minutes, give it a soaking, and then I'll get the cover on. Just before we finish this one, I want to point out to this shrub here. I've had it for years and it's the first time it's ever flowered. It's a LIGULARIA and the variety is called Desdemona. And some lovely flowers, and say whether it's been the weather or not, it's flowered for the first time. Really nice. One very last thing, I really like my t-shirt. And this was done by another YouTuber actually, Lady Jane Kelly. If you're not subscribed, I'll put a link to her channel underneath. Jane's got a lovely little half plot, but she just took on I'd say a full plot, but it's more like a small holding. She's got 3 greenhouses, and she's promoted her husband Mike to head gardener while they're getting it in shape. I think Mike does is an artist or something, but he's done the design of these. And Jane's got a shop, and if you go on there, there's about another 3 or 4 amusing garden related designs. So I'll put a link to that as well. So if you haven't been over, nip over and have a look. These are very well and very reasonably priced. So that's about it for this one. Until the next time, see you later. Bye for now.